So, like many of you, I've been watching The Wild Ones on Apple TV and I've thoroughly enjoyed the show. And I actually took the trouble to reach out to one of the stars of the show, Declan Burley, and he's such a top bloke. He actually got back to me and said he would be happy to come on board on this, my first ever podcast. We're going to muddle our way through this because I've never done this before. So, Declan, thank you very much for joining me. It's a privilege to have you here. Thank you for giving me your time. And let's dive on in.
Our world is under threat like never before.
What we're about to do has never been done.
Our mission? To find and film some of the most endangered animals on the planet.
It's looking straight at me.
And help scientists save them before it's too late.
Let's do it.
We're entering the unknown.
There's been more people in space than have been up this river.
I specialise in getting cameras into places where no one else can. Oh, that's pretty tight in here.
If a bear comes now, I'm a goner.
My job is to keep B&A and Deck safe.
What?
Getting that front row seat into his life.
This is cool. This is going to be some ride.
So, the Wild Ones, tell me about the show. How did that come about?
So the Wild Ones was actually it started off a completely different film. It was a passion project of Alex, who owns Offspring, and it was set out to film endangered animals, but in like a blue chip way. So like a more of a traditional nat history sort of style of filming. That was kind of how it was pitched about, it might have even been more than 4 or 5 years ago now. And that was kind of the way the show was going. And I got involved because I'm a camera trap dude. And Sana, one of the team, just to say, there's a massive team behind the Wild Ones. Everyone's at the top of their game, you know, big team. And so Sana reached out to me randomly. She just rang me. I think she found my website, which is so old school. And I didn't even realise people even looked at this website. And so she just rings me up on the random, and she was just like, Declan, I hear you're a camera trapper. We've got this big project, camera trap project, filming some of the most endangered animals on the world. It's going to be a real conservation piece. And as soon as she said conservation, I was like, okay, cool. Let's talk a bit more. And then I said, can you tell me anything about the animals? And she kind of listed the animals, and rhinos just stood out to me. And I was just like, oh, I'd love to do rhino. I love jungles. The idea of filming rhinos.
Right.
So that's kind of how it started. And then I was a bit busy at the time. So I went to the office a couple of weeks later, and I got chatting, you know, shaking hands, you know how it is, chatting away. And then they were like, well, look, Dec, would you be comfortable being on camera? And I was just like, yeah, but I'm not a presenter, you know, I'm a camera operator. Like, if you want to film me doing my thing, crack on, you know, like. So then it was funny. They gave me a list of questions, and they said, literally, just if you could just film it on your phone, you just walking around talking, answering these questions for like a tape, you know, just sort of like a cast and tape for Apple or something.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Anyway, I did that. I sent them off, and I didn't hear nothing for months. Honestly, I thought, oh, maybe I'm just not the guy they need. You know, I thought, oh, that's a shame. You know, I wanted to work on the project. And apparently what happened in between that month, that one of the commissioners saw my tape, and she literally said, that guy needs to be on every episode. I want him in front of camera. And honestly, dude, this tape is like 40 seconds. I've seen it. It's like, I just couldn't, it's mental how she decided this in that tiny little snapshot into my life. And, and I remember I get to Bristol, like, Declan, come down to Bristol. I was like, oh, okay, that's a good sign. We're going to take you out for a meal. And I was like, okay, that's a bit weird. That doesn't happen. And then, halfway through my noodles, I was trying to, you know, play it cool, eating noodles with chopsticks. And they were just like, so Declan, the commissioners love you and they want you on every episode in front of camera. The
Awesome.
format of the show has changed. Instead, now they want it, and the whole show just evolved from that 45-second video.
Yeah.
And the commissioner falling in love with me. So it was a bizarre moment. And to be fair, it was my partner Kira who finally convinced me to do it. At first, I wasn't that keen because I never wanted to be in front of camera. The
Yeah.
idea of it never thought of doing it. But I love it now. After the wild ones, I had so much fun doing it.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do it again. So yeah, that was my personal journey, how it kind of evolved into what it evolved into.
Yeah,
But
but that's how it works, isn't it? Sometimes you just
yeah,
you just trip into things and you just run with it. That's how you experience all these new things in life, and it opens doors, and you meet different people, and it's just somehow how it works. That's how sometimes I've got where I've got through different things. So that's great.
and it really did. Honestly, like obviously, a lot of people would argue saying, you create your own luck and you do this stuff and you follow the paths and it was definitely it felt like that. But all it would have taken is me to just say, oh no, I'm not interested in doing that camera trap project, and I probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be sitting here with you now. So
No, well, you
I
wouldn't.
just wouldn't. Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't have turned into what, and maybe the show would have gone down a more traditional route, which would have obviously kept the more traditional wildlife fans happier. But it's
Yeah.
turned into this more adventure, where you've seen the show, and I'm proud of it, and I like that. It feels different. It does feel a lot rawer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I thought it was a really good concept. It was different. It was fresh. You really felt the banter between you guys, and it was very natural. Everything. Um, I I really thought it was funny. The bit where they've got you jumping across the river, and you made it across the river, and then you tripped afterwards, and like, a lot of guys wouldn't leave that in, but they left it in, and I thought that was really good.
yeah, it's a classic. That was hilarious. I still can't believe Julius the Camop just kept and the soundy, both of them to be able to get the sound, and then him kept the shot because everyone was cracking up. Like even I was having a bad day, and that just kind of cheered me up. So it was
Yeah,
just one of those. That was such a funny moment, even in throughout the whole shoot. It's just a funny. And I remember the director being like, "Oh, can I use this?" And I was like, "Why are you even asking me? Of course you can use this. This
yeah,
is
right.
hilarious." Like,
Yeah,
and I think that's another thing what makes this show a bit different. It's like most presenters would never let the people see that. They wouldn't want the people to see that. And I remember the first, when I fell into the river in Malaysia, the very first episode, and my reaction was as soon as I got on the radio, my first reaction was like, "Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? The shot." I didn't care. I was fine. Obviously the engine was fucked, and we had to get it all sorted, and we got it sorted. But
right.
and I think that kind of set the tone because even I remember V&A, because obviously V&A, he's been in the industry a bit, and he goes, "They won't put that in." Because he wouldn't have liked that, I think. But
Right.
then as the show developed, and the banter and how we were as a crew, and it's all real, they're my mates, they're my brothers, and I think just the energy I was bringing to like this unprofessional, because I had no idea, I was just making it up, and it kind of evolved. The show evolved around that.
Yeah.
Even like Aldo, who's he's been a presenter and he's so professional, he's so good at like getting the lines out when you need them,
Right.
and I feel like me and V, we just talk from the heart. But even that, when I'm there, it breaks him down a little bit more, like where he's just a bit more relaxed, and it is a bit more, because sometimes he can be quite, got to hit his lines or whatever, and it's like, nah, that's not what we're doing on this show, and it was nice that the show evolved naturally like that as well, and that was just because of us on camera,
Yeah. Right.
so it was fun, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it was good, man. I really enjoyed it. It was candid and felt fresh, and I'm really pleased for you that you got onto screen with it, and I really hope that Apple runs a second season. That would be awesome. It would be great to see you back on screen and see you guys go somewhere else and keep pushing on with the same agenda. It was a worthy cause.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm in talks with a few people. People are interested. This time of year, the industry kind of slows down anyway.
Mm.
Summer holidays and all that, and the industry is not in the best shape at the moment.
Nah.
Um, Talking to some of the old guard, it's the worst I've ever seen it.
Right.
So who knows what's going to happen? But I'm definitely going to be pushing. Obviously, I'd love a series too, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
It's down to Apple. We know that we've made something a bit different and a bit special.
Hmm.
I feel like most of the reviews we're getting are very positive. And if it is a negative review, it's either been written by AI, by the sounds of it, or it's like someone who's a more traditional wildlife person what wants the gloss and the beauty, and that's fine too because I love them shows, and that was the reason I got into this. But this isn't that. This is a complete something new, and it's conservation, and it's conservation with a bit more of a light-hearted. Obviously what we're talking about is not good a situation, but the way we're talking about it might bring more people in
Yeah.
because it's not the doom and gloom of most sort of these types of shows. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's funny, isn't it? Because a lot of the shows they portray all the doom and gloom, and if you don't do
Mm.
this, it's going to be the end of the world, and then you get this sort of uplifting music, and then it's like, but we could still get the curve if we do this and we do that, and it's kind of a bit, it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, and I think that was massive, big team effort, but it was almost like, and it was so weird because even when we were like in the edits, people still didn't know which way the films were going.
Right.
And it just felt like because it just kept evolving, and at one point it just, because you could edit them shows in so many ways with
Yeah.
the amount of footage we had, but I think for me, as long as they had the crack in there and they kept it so it felt real, and you know what was nice for me is that people who really know me, who've been watching the show and been like, Deck, it's just you, man.
Mm.
That it's just you. It's not like, it's funny because we've had a few like, people obviously don't know what they're watching, but they're thinking we're like actors, and it's like this isn't acting. Like this is what it is.
It's
Now, don't
you.
get me wrong, there might be the odd little thing what's been set up. We're looking at a map,
Yeah.
but we're still covered in bees looking at a map, and we're still, the map has a point, but really everything is as raw and rugged and yeah, and it's so good that they got that across, because obviously it's hard to capture that and get that across,
Yeah.
the
Right.
magic of the shoot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they've done a great job of it.
Yeah. It was good. Well, that's us, Declan. Thank you so much for your time and answering all these questions. I really hope Apple does choose to do a season two. I, for one, will definitely be watching it, and I'm sure many people will be. It was a great watch. So all the very best to you, mate. And as I say, I look forward to seeing you in season two, or all of you in season two, hopefully. And once again, thank you so much for your time.
Well, I'll let you know. I know I probably won't be allowed to, but I will. I'll let you know for sure.
Okay.
As soon as I know. But I don't. You just don't. Like Apple don't. In a way, they don't need to make TV.
Mm.
They sell phones and laptops. So will they give us a second series? I don't know. I hope so, but time will find out. Um, I'd love a second shot at it. I would love another go at it for sure.